here is here to talk a little bit about something that I think a lot of us know a whole lot about, unfortunately, FAFSA.
Yes. So with this new year in 2024, 2025, there's kind of been a little bit of an overhaul, if you will, in terms of simplifying the FAFSA form, which we all know can be a pain and can take hours upon hours.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I went and spoke with the vice president of enrollment at UT Tyler to kind of talk about his view and perspective on the simplifications, and he kind of gave me a nice general overview of what this means for students and parents who are having to fill out that form. So, if you want to go ahead and play what he had to say.
I will. Now?
Now?
Okay.
Now would be great.
Sounds good. No,
and then we'll go into some details.
Fantastic. Let's do it.
Simplification is a big change, the biggest change in FAFSA in 40 years. This reduces the number of questions down from 108 down to 36, so a third of the questions. So in theory, it is more simplification for students. So overall, it will be good. Implementation is a little rocky right now, so it'll take a little time, and students will be delayed this first year in getting their aids from the schools because of the information processing.
Okay.
All right, so now let's just kind of talk about the biggest differences that we're going to notice. So, as David said in this little clip, the questions are basically being reduced by about a third of what they were. So you're going to go from answering over 100 questions to somewhere in the 30s, sometimes even as low as 18, just depending on who you are.
Okay.
And then the other interesting change is that you now, with your permission, the FAFSA can go into your IRS data and they can get everything they need with regards to your tax forms, and you don't have to fill that out.
Honestly, that would be so much easier.
Because I think the tax section, for me personally, was like the most daunting section.
Literally.
Taxing, exactly. So now there's kind of that option. And then the other big change is the difference in the name of what the FAFSA is releasing. So it used to be the expected family contribution, also known as the EFC. We've now changed over to student aid index. So what they decided is that the expected family contribution was kind of a misnomer. And people were kind of associating that with, the number that they're giving us means that that's how much we are supposed to be able to supply or apply towards college tuition.
That makes sense.
But that's not exactly what it is. So the new one, the SAI, is an estimate of the amount of financial aid a student is eligible to receive. So basically, just the new name is a little bit more clear and a little bit easier to understand.
That makes sense.
And a little bit less misleading.
Of course.
So let's see what else there is. At UT Tyler, about 70% of the students there are going to be filling out a FAFSA form, and that's also to apply for other
I mean, it's
scholarships and grants, and exactly.
And to take it down from 100 questions to 18 and be able to streamline the tax portion
exactly
is so much easier.
Exactly. So then the other big change that is the only thing that might take a little bit more time is it used to be that it was just the student and a guardian had to fill out the form. So now it's anybody that is giving information or has to be put on the form has to fill out their own form. So for example, if your parents are married, and they have to put that on the form, both parents are now going to have to fill out the form. But but it's shorter. So in theory, it shouldn't really take more time. It should take less time, even though there are more people having to fill it out. So.
Yeah, but it's like less questions spread out amongst many people.
Exactly.
Still streamlines the
And
process.
I got to talk to a student who was on campus, shockingly, because they don't go back for another 2 weeks at UT Tyler, but I spoke with a student who is a sophomore there, and this was the first he had actually heard of this, and he was so excited.
Because you have to fill it out over and over and over.
Exactly. The other big thing that David wanted to remind people of is that right now we're in what's called a soft launch period. Of this new FAFSA form. So they are still learning what's going to work and what's not going to work. So right now, if you try to fill it out online, you could get stuck in a waiting room. and they only open it for about 2 or 3 hours a day.
Okay.
Okay, so his advice to students was
Right.
just to wait a couple weeks until they get some of the kinks worked out.
That makes sense. Till it all
And-
settles and becomes official.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and there's no rush, like it's all good.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, for the upcoming school year. So this semester, FAFSA, that already happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lauren, I look forward to hearing more from exactly what we can expect,
Yep.
more from that student
Yep.
as we get, I guess, on camera his reaction
Yeah,
to
we got it.
this for the first time, to see exactly what an example of a student would truly think as soon as they learn the
Exactly.
news. Where can we hear more about this?
This will be on at 6, I believe.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll have
absolutely. Well, then I
all
look
that
forward
stuff
to
for you.
hearing more from you then. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.